Upon the arrival in Beijing, Foreign Minister Arakchi emphasized that Iran and China share a strategic partnership and highlighted Beijing's constructive role in nuclear diplomacy. From your point of view, how will that, or how do you assess China's potential influence in steering these indirect talks between Tehran and Washington towards a real resolution?
Good evening, and thank you for having me with you in Focus. Actually, China is one of the main players in that file. China and Iran signed a long-term strategic agreement between the two in 2021. Iran accepted in Shanghai as a full member, in BRICS as a full member, and both China a leading role in both Shanghai organization and BRICS as well. So it seems that China is maintaining and developing its cooperation with Iran on a strategic level in all fields, because that agreement mentioned all fields, including the nuclear field. China and Iran has a long also history in cooperation in nuclear peaceful agreements between the two, and they are developing their cooperation. That China was against Trump withdrew from 2015 agreement and asked many times the United States to return back to the agreement. Most important that lately China, Iran, and Russia has triple talks in Beijing in March concerning the nuclear program of Iran and what can Iran introduce, or the flexibility it may Iran follow in any incoming negotiation. So China is supporting agreement, supporting negotiation. And by the way, today it was supposed to have technical negotiation between Iran and the United States, and it postponed to Saturday. So that Iranian-China consultation and negotiation, I think it is very important, and it may pave the way to really a constructive step on next Saturday.
Right now, the Iranian Foreign Minister Arakchi stressed that the U.S. are headed in the right direction, but also warned against unrealistic American demands. Based on the past negotiations, what kind of demands are we expecting from Washington, and what made Iran views them as unrealistic?
The problem, I think Trump administration is paying flexibility, enough flexibility to reach an agreement. Up to the date, they only negotiated the nuclear program. Before Trump connect nuclear program with that missiles and the Iranian role in the region, supporting other groups like Hezbollah and Houthi, etc. But now they are focusing only on nuclear program of Iran. This is, I think, one of the main positive steps from Trump. But I think the problem is concerning how far Iran can reach in its enrichment of uranium. This is a very technical issue. Now Iran reached 60%. If Iran reached 90%, it will be able to produce nuclear weapons. And I think the most important now for Trump administration is how to stop Iran from enrichment or continue enrichment the uranium, and not to reach that level which enable Iran to produce nuclear weapons. Iran is still talking about its own right to enrich uranium. Also, one of the issues concerning the inspections, it is having sanctions directly on Iran, of course, refused that totally and stuck with the nuclear agency.
Dr. Nourhan, let me here reiterate some positions. Iran has vehemently always rejected the idea that they are enriching the uranium for nuclear weapons, rather for the peaceful means. And President Trump has always emphasized that they will never let Iran already go with its nuclear enrichment, or what could lead to nuclear to uranium enrichment that would lead to nuclear weapons. Now, these were the two positions here. So, what do you think? What is the unrealistic that Iran spoke about?
Because Trump wanted to prevent Iran from having the capability of producing nuclear weapons, not producing it actually. Iran is stuck, as you mentioned, with its right to enrich uranium, and the problem for Iran is to produce nuclear weapons, not to have the capability to produce. So this is it is a very technical issue and very slightly different. It seems slightly, but actually it is a very deep agreement between Iran and the United States. Mm-hmm. Plus, the United States wanted to calm all fears of Israel and Netanyahu. And that will not be realized without preventing Iran from having the capabilities of producing, not only preventing it from producing nuclear weapons. Mm-hmm. Because, if I have the capability as a state, I can produce it at any time. And this is the problem. And this is the fears of Israel and United States.
Right.
So it is very complicated and technical issue. And but I think that they will reach some agreement.
So the next round of indirect negotiations is scheduled for next week in Muscat, with Arakshi and Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff leading these efforts. What should we be expecting in terms of breakthroughs, sticking points? And do you think the visit or the foreign minister's visit to China would influence those talks?
China, a very important ally to Iran, and its stand affecting a lot Iran. I think that Iranian wanted to consult, and before, if you remember, a week ago, also the Iranian foreign minister visited Russia, because those are the two who are very close allies to Iran, and their stand will determine a lot the position of Iran in the next upcoming negotiation. So I think he wanted to consult Russia, and he did, and now he is consulting China to their stand and to be aware of the limitation of Iranian position and how far he can go and or not go in the next negotiation. But I think it will not be solved in one round. We need some or number of rounds of talks to solve all those issues, particularly that Iran insisting to lift the sanctions imposed by the United States and other Western countries upon Iran, and that also will take time to release such sanctions and for the United States to change its stand concerning the sanctions on Iran.
Now, Iranian Foreign Minister spokesperson emphasized that the aim of the talks with the U.S. is to lift the imposed sanctions that are unjustified and illegal. This is according to definitely the spokesperson, the Iranian spokesperson. How central is the demand for lifting sanctions to Tehran, and what leverage does Iran have to push for that?
I think that Iran went to negotiation for one aim is to lift the sanctions. So if we put it like that, Iran lifting sanctions and the United States putting as a priority that enrichment of uranium. And that would be the deal, to cap that enrichment uranium and in return, U.S. From Iranian point of view would lift sanctions over Iran. I think that is the deal they are now negotiating on, and I don't know how far they can go ahead and how far the United States really can lift such sanctions, because there are huge pressure from Israel not to do, because they are afraid that as soon as they lifting the sanctions, Iran would be able to refresh its economy and to support more and more its allies in the region, like Hezbollah, Houthi,
proxies. Yes,
and
yes,
and that will. I'm sure that will not be in favor of Israel and the United States as well.